I wanted to talk about actually how I originally heard about your band, right? Which is Story of the Year.
Yep.
Originally Big Blue Monkey, right? That was the name.
Yep.
Were you in that band?
I was.
And you played drums, right?
In Big Blue Monkey originally, yes. Okay. This is a good segue for what I need to talk about anyway. Story of the Year just started a podcast as well. It's called the Page Avenue Crew podcast.
Nice.
The first episode is actually live right now, but we're not announcing it till tomorrow. I don't know when this comes out. This might not come out for a couple of days, or is it like right away? Whatever.
It'll probably be a couple weeks.
Okay. So it'll already be out. So Page Avenue Crew podcast, go listen to that. The first episode is all about our history as a band, and we explain it all from like the mid-90s of me and Ryan meeting. We had a band called 67 North. There was our first band, which was basically a Rage Against the Machine cover band because we would just play Rage songs and shit. And I was a guitar player, and so was Ryan. And then his little brother was the bass player, and we had some other friends who were drums and bass. Then we quit that band, and me and him started Big Blue Monkey together, me and Ryan from Story of the Year. But we didn't have a drummer. At first, I was going to play bass because I was always a guitar player and a singer, but we just couldn't find anybody else. So I could kind of play drums, and it was like, well, fuck, we don't have a drummer. All right, fuck it. I'll be the drummer. You be the guitar player. We'll get our friend John to sing and our friend Perry to play bass. So that was Big Blue Monkey in 98, I guess, is when we started that. We did that for a couple years. Eventually, we kicked our singer out. I became the singer, and we got Josh Wills to be the drummer. Then we got Adam to play bass. So as a four-piece, Big Blue Monkey was the same four-piece that Story of the Year is right now. For like 2 years, we were a four-piece with the current lineup of Story of the Year. And then later we got another guitar player named Greg for a year, got signed with him in the band, blah, 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 Story of the Year. We changed our name to Story of the Year. Did a bunch of stuff, kicked him out, got Phil Sneed in the band right after that, blah, blah, blah. And then, so that was the brief, quick history of Story of the Year's origins there.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I heard Big Blue Monkey, I think it was the Point Essential CD that you guys were on. And I think Razor Blades was the song that was on it.
Yeah, that would have been when I started singing, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, I remember, like I said, because I grew up very sheltered listening to Christian music, this was really when I was listening to just everything. I was finally on my own, you know what I mean?
You were a real heathen by this time.
Yes. And I went and saw you guys at Point Fest then with my friend Pat Gibson, and someone fell in my fucking head immediately. And I think you opened with In the Hero Will Drown, and it was just like, holy shit, this is insane. It was just a lot different than anything I'd ever seen. And also, like, you as a singer, you're really like somebody that helped me get out of my rah-rah-rah-ness, you know what I mean? Like, I don't sing like you. Like, I don't play that style of music, but I like a lot of different kinds of music, you know what I mean? So, like, hearing you and seeing, how you did things, you not only influence, like, vocally, but also the way you guys perform. Like, I'm not as energetic, obviously, as you guys are, but I would play in bands with guys that, like Wiley, you know what I mean, that would be fucking doing the backflips and trying to swing the guitars around their necks and doing all that crazy-ass stuff that's fucking badass, you know what I mean? So it's really cool to actually be able to talk to you about it. One thing I wanted to ask you, too, is a story I heard way back in the day is that you guys actually snuck on a tour bus. Was it John Feldman? Is that who it was?
Yeah.
And that's how you got signed? That's what I heard back in the day. Is that actually true?
Very true. I think this is in the first episode of what we of our new podcast as well. It was our other guitar, our middle world guitar player, Greg Hopt, great dude from St. Louis. He was in the band briefly, but he had joined the band right before that, and we won a contest to play Point Fest as Big Blue Monkey, and we fucking opened the front stage at like 10 a.m. This is 2002, I believe, maybe 2005. It was one of those years. But yeah, we played at like 10 a.m. Goldfinger was one of the later bands in the day. And like, The Used had just come out, and John Feldman had produced that album, and it was like doing really well. And we're like, fuck yeah, fucking Gold. I was a huge Goldfinger fan either way. So Greg, our guitar player, we had a VHS like DVD. It wasn't DVD. It was a VHS like highlight reel of It was called Ape Shit 2001 is what it was called because we were called.
So good. It's so good.
It's what the story of the year, like Live in the Loop, Assassins DVD became later. A lot of the footage is on that, but we were always like jackass shit. We were doing all the dumb shit, and we were like, our music's all right, but we're really fucking weird and funny, and this is gonna get us there. So we had this thing, and Greg snuck into their bus on Goldfinger's bus, and I think he put it in the VHS, like the player. What the fuck did you call those things?
The VCR.
VCR. Okay, kids, listen. Back
Put it in the
in the early days, there was these big ass tapes with fucking things in them. So I think he actually put it in the VCR and like snuck out, and I think he left a couple around. Just randomly, they were like going to the next city, and they were bored enough to watch this fucking VHS tape of us, and they're like, these guys are fucking hilarious. And John Feldman's manager called us like a couple weeks later, and we had moved to California within these 2 weeks. We like rented a house in California as a band, all moved there. We lived there for a while, but yeah, they called us and they're like, hey, you want to go on tour for 2 weeks? Because we think you guys are funny. And I was like, fuck yeah, we'll go on fucking tour with Goldfinger. And then he ended up getting us signed to Maverick, and he produced our first record and blah blah blah. But yeah, very true story.